Oh my goodness, we're playing Manor Lords. Yes, I know I'm very late to the party, but I'll be honest, I spent a long old time trying to decide whether it was for me or not. It's an early access game still in development. It has real-time strategy and military elements that don't interest me in the slightest, but at its core, it's essentially City Skylines, but in the olden days. Your main goal is to see to the happiness of your dwellers by acquiring resources, establishing supply chains, and setting up trade routes. I like that stuff. And so, massive plot twist, I bought the game. Shock. Our goal for today is to get the achievement of Small Town. We'll be focusing on aesthetics and realism here, and this will by no means be the optimum playthrough. But without further ado, let's jump in. My first achievement is remembering my name. Well done me. And then we'll go with the portrait that's basically just me with blonde hair. We of course have the stunning Moomin Little Socks logo as our coat of arms, which looks fantastic. And we're going with the Rise to Prosperity scenario template. Let's do this thing. Before we do anything else, we must rename our region, which I've thought long and hard about. Okay, not really. We're going with Littleton. Let's read this silly little message. Blah blah blah, I do see great potential. Blah blah blah, prosperity does indeed await. Now, a huge factor of success in Manor Lords is your starting location and surrounding resources. And I must say, we've been incredibly fortunate here. We've got berries, iron, clay, stone, and wild animals, all in very close proximity. And of course, plenty of trees for wood. The iron and stone are rich deposits, which is great news. The first thing I want to do is establish our industrial area by placing some roads. I'm going with a nice winding track central to our resources. I reckon a nice little split in the middle feels realistic. Now, one of the first things we want is timber. It's one of the key construction materials as well as being required for firewood and planks. We'll place the logging camp here, allowing space across the road for our other wood-related buildings. Equally as important as wood is food. So let's place a hunting camp near the wild animals, shall we? As you can see at the top of the screen, we have 5 homeless families. That's not good. So let's move over the main road to start thinking about our residential area. I'm going to create a nice winding main road for our little suburban side streets to shoot off of. Now I'm going to trial our first burgage plot going here, but I sense it's not going to work, so don't get too attached, okay? In order to build said burgage plots, we're going to need some wood. So let's get a family working at the logging camp. And while we're at it, another family at the hunting camp to start gathering some meat and hides. Considering food is essential to survival, let's take advantage of those berries too. We'll create a nice private drive for our forager hut. How exclusive, darling. Meanwhile, all our starting food and resources are sat out in the open, so we should really place a granary and a storehouse. We'll place these equidistant to our industrial and residential areas for convenience. Whilst we've got logistics on the brain, we'll pop down a hitching post for our oxen. And just like that, our granary is complete, so hopefully our food won't spoil. Thank goodness. Now that we've got some timber coming in, let's think about plotting another 4 homes for our remaining families. Our lovely corner cottage has some industry space in the back garden, so let's make the reckless decision to grow some vegetables, rather than invest in another ox like I should. Also, ew, why is the garden extending into the road? I'm going to have to contact the council. Oh wait, I am the council. What happens when you breach your perimeter? You get demolished. Don't mess with me. Anyway, we need firewood, so let's place a woodcutter's lodge, shall we? Now that we're producing firewood and food, we need a market to sell it to our lovely citizens. And what better place than the old corner cottage whose residents decided to cross me. And look, our first stall. How cute. Considering there's a small part of me feeling sorry for the family I evicted, and we're quickly running out of workforce, let's place a few more burgage plots. Once again, I have ample opportunity to save the little wealth we have, but instead I insist on some flippin' vegetable gardens. With our 5th home completed, our settlement level has increased. Hurrah! Let's spend that sweet, sweet development point. Considering we've got our berry picking supply chain established, let's capitalise and double the capacity of all wild berries. Berries for days. With our 6th burgage plot built, I'm hoping for a new family to move in. However, it quickly occurs to me that I still haven't built a bloody well. How these people are surviving without water is beyond me. Thankfully, and very conveniently, there's some underground water just opposite. Ta-da! Even with a water supply, food and firewood, I still can't seem to draw a single family to Littleton. So, it's time to turn to God. Oh lordy. But for a church, we need a few more resources, including planks, so let's plop down a sawmill. Gosh, how wonderful. Only problem now is by employing a family here, we literally have no one left for construction. Oh god, we could be in trouble here. Just kidding, we've got this. I've acquired the resources and our church can be built, thank god. Time to get a bit creative with roads to form what will be our little town square. And just as I do, it starts to snow. How pretty. Once again, we're short on the hottest commodity, people. So let's plan for a few more homes next to the church. Prime real estate, baby. 3 large homes with gardens. Luxurious. Even though we're not in any position to start producing beer, I want to get a tavern in place close to the town centre before doing anything else. Meanwhile, our church construction is going wonderfully and our skyline is really starting to take shape. The next thing our families desire is clothing. Perfectly understandable. So let's take advantage of the hides we're producing from the hunting camp to create leather and place down a tannery. I'm starting to get obsessed with growth now. Give me more people. I'm going to create a couple more very American looking blocks to house more Littletonians. No space for gardens here. High capacity accommodation, baby. Now, considering I've spent all the money I have on carrots, we should probably think about setting up some trade routes to get some dollar bills coming in. We'll place a trading post and livestock trading post just so it's done. As we have a rich deposit of iron nearby, we may as well use it as a source of income. Iron ore can be smelted into iron slabs, and iron slabs can be forged into tools, a major commodity around these parts. For that, we'll need a bloomery and a smithy, so let's create a nice little side street for said buildings. Meanwhile, our new homes are popping up fast, allowing us to staff the new supply chain. With our iron industry all fired up, we can set our exporting rules at the trading post. We'll keep a reserve of 10 just so we've got some in stock for ourselves, and anything above that can be sold for a tasty profit. However, it's never that easy. As tools are a major trade item, we need to pay to establish a dedicated trade route, and that costs money. So we're going to set up some minor trades of things like excess firewood and iron ore to get some cash in. Another way of making the trade route more affordable is to halve the price using a development point. And for that, we need to upgrade 2 of our burgage plots to level 2. So let's flipping well do that. With the status of a medium village achieved, we can acquire trade logistics, giving us enough wealth to establish a major trade route. Yay! With a steady income from our tool exports, we can start kitting out burgage plots with animal pens for passive meat and hide. At this point, I'm just throwing my cash at anyone who wants it. You get some carrots. You get some carrots. Everybody gets carrots. With more money coming in, we're going to invest in a bunch more oxen to speed up construction. Something I should have done way sooner. Again, it's time to expand our village with even more homes. These ones are allowed to have gardens. Fancy, I know. With winter drawing near again and our settlers becoming more demanding, we should probably think about brewing some beer for our abandoned little tavern. For beer we need malt, and for malt we need barley. So let's place 3 fields, allowing for a nice 3-year crop rotation as well as a farmhouse. The land fertility is pretty dreadful in this area, but hey ho, what can you do? Let's set the crop types to allow 2 fields to be in harvest, whilst the 3rd can be fallow to increase fertility. Next we need a malt house to turn our barley into malt. Lastly, we need someone to brew the beer when the time comes, and I reckon this household would make fabulous artisan brewers. In order to increase our settlement level from medium village to large village, we need 3 additional level 2 burgage plots, so let's get to it. With the last house upgraded, we are now officially a large village. Terribly overwhelming. We should have a beer to celebrate. Oh wait. We can't yet. Oh well, let's spend a development point instead, and why not one to assist with our farming industry, the heavy plough. If we're going to have dedicated oxen for the farm, we'll need more oxen, so we'll add a hitching post on the village square. Look at him go, ploughing like a boss, although I'm not too sure about his methods. With the fields ploughed, it's sowing time. You lob them seeds, babes. During all of our excitement in the fields, I missed the fact our loggers have committed mass deforestation. So we best become more sustainable and start replanting. We'll build a forester's hut and employ someone there shortly. It's time to do what so many chickens have done before and cross the road. More housing required. I don't know what for, I'm just getting carried away. We'll also connect it to the industrial area for easier access. With our forager's hut complete, I'm able to sleep at night, knowing we're giving something back. I'm sure we'll just cut them down again, but that's not the point. Only 15 days left till harvest. Best make the preparations. We'll hire someone in the malt house and watch our lovely farmers get to work. How exciting. With our beer industry about to thrive, we best check what else our settlers require. They want an even nicer church, more food options, and more clothing. These people live better than I do. In order to upgrade our church, we need 2 additional resources, stone and roof tiles. Thankfully, we have both stone and clay deposits. Aren't we lucky? Enough messing about, let's place a stonecutter camp, mining pit, and clay furnace. With all three staffed, it's now just a waiting game. Okay, I got bored waiting, so I'm building more burgage plots. I know I have a problem. We did it. We have the bits, so let's get this holy moly church upgraded for the people. Doesn't it look lovely? It's stone and everything. With our church done, next harvest of barley coming in, food and clothing increased, we're on track for our final upgrades. I really want to upgrade these 3 as our level 3 plots, but 2 of them aren't having any of it. How can one of you meet all criteria but your neighbours don't? It's just selfish. Oh well, stuff them. We'll upgrade the 2 next to the market. One of them is the brewery, one of the main reasons we're able to upgrade anyway, so they deserve it. As we wait for the last house to be upgraded, don't forget to like the video, or my settlers will be sad. They told me. One of them whispered to subscribe to the channel, but he's a little unhinged, so I'll let you make your own judgment on that one. But there we have it. We built a small town in Manor Lords and I made it look absolutely effortless. In reality, it took me about 3 days and I cried 7 times. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you all very soon.